Hello everyone, it's me, Tony from Black Thought, and today we have a more heartfelt video. I'm going to talk about a massacre that Texas would like for you to forget, and quite frankly, how it's the Black history they don't want you to know. So first and foremost, this all happened in a town called Slocum. It was a massacre, a Black massacre, almost kind of more of a genocide, really. A genocide to a lesser number of people. However, effectively what it was, as only one race was targeted, and it was an overwhelmingly a slaughter, so to speak. There was no fighting back. In fact, well, actually, you know, let's just get into the story. I don't want to bring on too many heartstrings with sad tales. But so here's what happened, right? A white man by the name of Jim Sperger, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, did not get a job. In fact, the job that he wanted was given to a Black man who was more predominantly known around the area. And as I said, around the area, and the area that it happened in was Slocum, which is an all-Black town. So yeah. Of course, the job went to a Black man since it was a job in a Black town, but Jim Sperger wanted it. He didn't get it. So what did he do? He went around telling rumors. He went around spreading a rumor that a Black mob was coming, and they were coming quickly to kill and rape and plunder as many people as they could. Now, this wasn't true. It was a flat-out lie, but he went around saying it to any and everyone he could. And eventually, a lot of people believed it. And the Ku Klux Klan got involved, and they gathered more people, and they went to town. The town of Slocum. When they went there, they split up into about 6 to 7 different mobs to roam the area. And each mob had about 30 to 40 people at its minimum, while some had upwards of 200 people. And anytime they saw a Black person, it was basically a shoot on sight. Meaning as soon as you saw him, you shot him. This led a lot of people to essentially, a lot of Black folks specifically, to essentially go around telling people, guys, there's an angry white mob here, we have to go. And Black folks started running away in droves. I mean, into woods, into swamps. They went anywhere they could to try and avoid getting shot. However, quite a few of them were shot in the back as they were running away. In fact, a lot of the bodies that were found, not many were, but a lot of the bodies that were found with clothes and different personal items in their arms next to them. So essentially, even though they were running, they were still shot and killed. And the local newspapers, when they were reporting it as breaking news, they reported it as a Black mob was attacking and a white defense militia kind of was protecting everyone. That was the farthest from the truth. In fact, like I said, quite literally, no one fought back. It was a one-sided slaughter. When the sheriff came into town with him and his group, he came in to a bunch of people, white people specifically, sheltering in churches and different buildings like that. And when they did that, it was obviously to protect themselves from what they thought was a Black mob coming. Now, when he questioned them, they all cited that they never saw a Black mob. They just did as they were told. And yeah. So then the sheriff knew right away that there was no Black mob. This was an excuse to start up something, basically. In fact, the sheriff told the New York Times that it was just a bunch of white mobs going around shooting Black folk indiscriminately. I mean, keep in mind, the sheriff at the time was kind of racist, so I kind of made his words a lot more modern. we'll say. And the detective says that about 8 to 24 bodies were found. They're not entirely sure where the number lied between bodies found and bodies reported. However, it's hypothesized that the number is much larger than that. In fact, 10 times that. Upwards of 200, past 200 dead bodies. And that doesn't include different buildings that were burned down or anything like that. In fact, a lot of what the mobs did was they would go to different houses and cabins and whatnots and knock, come in, shoot, leave. There are a few stories of people getting out, getting away. Some stories about people going through bushes. Swamps, going through swamps, going through the forest. One story in particular kind of sticks out to the kind of ingenuity and cleverness that Black folk had back in the day. One family in particular had a carriage, a buggy, or whatever it's called, with the horse in the carriage, basically. And the wife was a lot more light-skinned than the husband. Not to the point where if it was daytime you could tell, but so the family plotted to have the family made the plan to have the husband in the front of the carriage, dealing with the horses, while the wife was in the back of the carriage. This is at night, by the way, so you can't really tell that she's not white because of how light-skinned she was at night specifically. I want to really get that point through. Because that is how they got out. And she had all of her kids in the carriage with her as they escaped. And when the white mob was coming past them, they just thought it was a white woman who was trying to get out of the area. I personally think that's just a really clever thing to do. But yeah, Texas has literally avoided ever trying to bring it up, talk about it, or mention it. Literally. In fact, in the 2 books marking a lot of the historical stuff that happened in Texas, especially the one for the county, the centennial book for the county that marks its history, it has no mention of Slocum. And there's also another book that came out of Houston that was supposed to capture the entire history of what happened during that time period. However, there was no mention of Slocum. And now I want to bring it back because Slocum, like I said, was an all-black town, a prosperous town with black businesses, black home ownership, black families, complete families. When I say complete, I mean father, mother, children. And probably grandma and grandpa also in the house, something like that. And it was all razed to the ground and had to be abandoned because Jim Sperger was mad about not getting a job. Yeah, no one was ever convicted on any charges. No one was ever really brought in. And like I said, Texas has gone to great lengths to kind of wipe it from their history. But it's the stuff that we got to know. It's the black history they don't want you to know, that you have to know, that we got to know, and that I will continue to tell. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, I know it was a more somber video, so I shouldn't say enjoyed, but if you appreciated the content, better said, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you comment, I will not only respond to your comment, but I'll also shout you out in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Goodbye.